Yep. Time to get the thing on the road for change. Yep, Black Cleopatra. 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 All right. Good morning. Yeah. It's a magnificent Monday. What's going on, beautiful people, man? It don't feel like no Monday. It sure feel like it's still another Sunday. But some of y'all got to go to work. Y'all ain't off till maybe Wednesday, Tuesday. I'm not quite sure. I don't live that life, but hey, shout out to y'all who out there still making it happen. Man, good morning to you, man. Thanks so much for joining us here today, man. New Black Wall Street, man, book club. We're back here with another episode as we're going to be talking about Black Cleopatra, which is Black Fortunes, man. Good morning. Grand rising to you, Miss Keonda Grant. Thanks so much for joining, man. Salute, Mr. Peter Grant. Thanks so much for joining, man. Grand rising to you, man. Kings and queens. Off all week. Fantastic. Who else is off all week, man? You got time. Hey, if you off all week, don't waste it. Don't blow it. It's an opportunity for you to really focus on stuff that you want to focus on without having to be interrupted with going into the office or whatever it is that you do. Man, don't blow it. I see some people, they are off all week and then they really off all week. I mean, how many guys have been off and been off? Like, no. You might be off from the job, but make sure that you're on for yourself, that you're on for your goals, that you're on for your future, that you're on for your kids, that you are on, although you are off. That's what I'm talking about, man. Grand rising to you, man. New Black Wall Street Book Club. Hey, we're not going to delay. We're going to get right into this thing because we hit 8. We get you to about 8:03, 8:04, and then we crank that thing up. You know what time it is, man. Mr. DJ, hit the music.
New Black Wall Street Book Club. Evan Jefferson, brother, much love. Educating, elevating, because in knowledge is the power and we'll never give it up. Literature's for the masses. Where to put your money down, now how to watch your assets. Yeah, uplifting others is a passion. My brother Evan, he will turn it into action. New Black Wall Street Book Club. You should come read with us. Yeah, we comprehend and discuss. If we all just come together, there's no limit for us. Here comes your host, New Black Wall Street. Evan, take it away. New Black Wall Street Book Club.
Hey, grand rising to you, billionaires. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the New Black Wall Street Book Club, where Black folk do read. You put in a book, we absolutely will find it. I'm your host, ERGJ, your certified financial educator, CEO of ERGJ Enterprises, ERGJ Black Bazaar, and international best-selling author of the book, The Black Billionaires Club. That book there is a study of Black wealth. That book there is a study of the 12 richest Black people in the world today and how they built their wealth. And I just truly believe that if you want to be wealthy, that's a big if, by the way, but if you do, I recommend that you study wealthy people. That book there you can find by simply going to the website, theblackbillionairesclub.com. That's right, theblackbillionairesclub.com. Pick up the hard copy, get the ebook, easy for you to get, download. Also do have available in French, and ebook and also audiobook as well for our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. Now go and pick up your copy of The Black Billionaires Club and begin your study of Black wealth, theblackbillionairesclub.com, theblackbillionairesclub.com. Man, go and let us know where you're connected from, beautiful people. What city, what state, what country, quite possibly. We're broadcasting right here from our virtual studio here in Decatur, Georgia. Decatur, where it's greater. We love to know where you are, right? Rep your city, your state, your country, whatever it is, man. Rep your city. Love to know just how far our reach is this morning. Go ahead and say good morning. Let us know who you are, where you are, and all that good stuff as well. Good morning to you, Miss Vivian Reeves up in the house, man. Brooklyn, New York is representing BBC. Man, a long-time BBC member is up in the house, man. Thanks so much for joining. Who else is here? Where you at? Hope, faith, love. Say, man, I'm in Clayton County. That sounds like Georgia as well. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the New Black Wall Street. Now, here's the deal, guys. Some of you guys might have some stuff. You might be, have a business or something like that you want featured on the show. Well, we do have sponsorships available for you. That's right. You could actually get to be a sponsor of this or get a spot on this show. If you'd like to do that, just make sure you inbox us at ERGJ Enterprises and let us know that you have interest in being a sponsor, and we can help pump up the volume into your organization, pump up the volume into your business, pump up the volume into whatever it is that you do, help you sell more stuff and bring more awareness to that what you do. This is a regular daily show, so you get daily eyes on your stuff without you having to always talk about it. What a beautiful thing that is. Today's sponsor is ERGJ Black Bazaar. That's right, I sponsor my own shit. That's right, the ERGJ Black Bazaar, the Afrocentric marketplace, where we specialize in Afrocentric home decor, natural personal care products, and also Black art inspired gifts. And you can check out www.ergjblackbazaar.com, www.ergjblackbazaar.com. And when you get here, guys, man, go ahead and check out the apparel section. In case you guys don't know, just yesterday we was rocking the Weekends Are Made to Get Rich long sleeve shirt. Man, you get that thing in blue, you get that thing in all these different colors as well, man. Check it out. Weekends Are Made to Get Rich, the new shirt from the BBC, man. You can pick that thing up by simply going to the website, two different websites. You go to theblackbillionairesclub.com if you like, or you can pick it up at ergjblackbazaar.com, where we also have that available to you as well. ergjblackbazaar.com, www.ergjblackbazaar.com, www.ergjblackbazaar.com. Want you to remember this. Once you shop black, you never go back. That's right, man. Once you shop black, you never go back, man. That's what I'm talking about, man. Let's get right into this thing today, man. Black folk do read with our daily motivation for African-American success. That's right, daily motivation for African-American success. And today's title is Burn, Baby, Burn. Burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno. Right, burn, baby, burn. And our quote today comes from a Mordecai Johnson, who is the former president of Howard University. Mr. Mordecai Johnson, former president of Howard University. And he says this, and I quote, "You are not rewarded for having brains. You're only rewarded for using them." You're not rewarded for having brains. You're only rewarded for using them. Man, how many of you guys know some people who got a ton of potential? I mean, they are smart. They filled with a lot of knowledge, but they're not using or applying it. You're like wondering, well, how do you know all this stuff? But you're not simply doing something with that which you know. Plenty of people are constipated on information. And I'm telling you, man, once you begin to apply, you turn knowledge into wisdom. You start using what you got, not just knowing that you got it. That's the difference. Start using what you got. Everybody put it down, so use what I got. Start using what you got instead of just knowing that you got it. It's almost like some plan Z, plan 26, plan 55. Like eventually I'll get to the point where I actually use the stuff that I got because I know that I got it. And I'm telling you, don't want to fall into that position where you're just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting when you got something. Use it. Here's our motivation, man, from Mr. Dennis P. Kimbro. Let's get right into this thing, man. Let's get it. Whenever you buy a plane or a train ticket, someone always asks, "Destination, please." In other words, what's your aim? The universe asks each of us a similar question. Where are you going in life? In order to answer this question, you must get smart about your destination. You must set specific, measurable, acceptable, realistic, and truthful goals. Everybody putting down so smart, SMART. If you engage in the process of becoming smart, you'll be on your way to reaching your objective. And because you have identified your destination, your personal power will multiply. For example, on a clear, bright, sunny day, take a magnifying glass outside and hold it over a pile of crumpled pages of newspaper. Even though you are magnifying the intensity of the sun's rays through the lens eye, you will never start a fire if you keep moving the glass. But if you hold the magnifying glass still, allowing it to focus the rays in a concentrated beam of sun energy, you will harness the power of the sun and multiply it through the lens, igniting a fire. The same process could be utilized to start a fire in your affairs. By concentrating on a single goal and focusing your energy, you will harness your personal power and reach your objective. Try it and ignite your ideas. Let me read this again. By concentrating on a single goal concentrating on a single goal. Now, I will tell you this, as I do a lot of coaching and I help a lot of people get focused and get clear. A lot of clarity comes in your focus, by the way. And what typically happens is we're complex people, and we have a lot of good ideas, and all of them could turn into something. But what most people do is they try to work on all of them at the same time, and they accomplish absolutely nothing because their energy is dispersed. Their energy is going in a lot of different areas, and it's going to take them a lot longer to have some semblance of success because their stuff is all over the place. Versus, you know what? I got all these great ideas. But what's the most important one to me at this particular time that I'm going to focus on? I'm going to make this dream or this goal become a reality. I'll put the other ones on the parking lot, and I'll get to those once I complete something. See, the key, I would say, to success is execution. It's not what you start, it's what you finish. Oh, let me say that again for the people in the back. It's not what you start, it's what you finish. Plenty of people start. Plenty of people start to lose weight. Plenty of people start the new year. Plenty of people begin to write down their goals. So it's not about what you start. That's great that you got started. But really, when it comes down to real success in this life, it's about what you complete, right? It's about your execution to finish what you started. Everybody putting the console, finish what you start. See, many of you guys are going to do something that's coming up in the next couple of months. You're either doing it now to finish the year strong, or you're going to do it to start your decade off right. And you're going to start with some goals. You're going to start with some ideas. You're going to start with a vision board party. You're going to start with all these different things. These, what they call it, resolutions, quite possibly. But how many of those resolutions do we see in this world that people start on January 1st? By the time it gets to December 31st, they haven't completed. Matter of fact, many of them have forgotten what they wanted to do on January 1st because they never wrote it down. So it's not about what you start. It's about what you finish. Finish the race that you began. Good idea after good idea after good idea. What good intentions after good intentions after good intentions. It's not about what you start. It's about what you finish. Your execution on your ideas, your execution on your intentions, your executions on these things that's going on the side of you that you want to bring out into this thing called life. Finish what you started. Now, how do you finish? You finish or you ignite the flame with your focus. With your focus. So you finish with focus. You finish with focus. Here's our affirmation of the day. Here's what you are allowed to take root into your heart, your subconscious. Then you can grow and develop this thing by repeating it over and over and over again until it brings forth a harvest into your life. Daily motivations, affirmation of the day. Repeat after me. Today, I will identify my destination and ignite my definite purpose. Our affirmation of the day, let's do it again. Repeat after me. Today, I will identify my destination and ignite my definite purpose. Now, what is this saying, beautiful people? It's saying, I know where I want to go, and I know why I want to go there. Ooh. Let's do it one more time for the people in the back, the people in the way back, our affirmation of the day. This time, say it with some conviction. Let the world know that you're serious about this thing, because words are powerful. Repeat after me. Today, I will identify my destination and ignite my definite purpose. Well, billionaires, do you know where you want to go? And do you know why you want to go there? This is your life. You can take your life wherever it is that you want to take it. All too often, we're going places without knowing why we want to go there, and we find ourselves stuck in a rut because we were never meant to go there in the first place. We did not take responsibility. We did not take control. We did not take the steering wheel. We decided to let life drive instead of us driving life. We decided to let our day run us instead of us running our day. We decided to let our emotions master us instead of us mastering our emotions. This is an affirmation that's just simply saying, take control. Take control. It's your life. If you don't take control of your life, who will? Good morning to you, Miss Kinata. Thanks so much for joining. Daily baby burn. Daily Motivations for African American Success by Mr. Dennis P. Kimbro. Daily Motivations for African American Success by Mr. Dennis P. Kimbro. What's going on with you? I am Eola. Thanks so much for joining us. Instagram, Miss Kinata Downer over at YouTube. Thanks so much for joining. Jennifer Almoner on Facebook. Miss Vivian Reed, YouTube. Thanks so much. We're broadcasting. I'm a Bonsu from YouTube. Thanks so much for joining. We are broadcasting across Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. We also do have a goal. We start talking about destination. You know what my destination is? My destination is 1,000 YouTube subscribers, right? We're currently at about 670. So if you have not subscribed to us on YouTube, that really helps us out. Go ahead and go to ERGJ Enterprise, look for that on YouTube, and go ahead and subscribe. Now, why am I asking you to do that? Why do I want that goal? You know why I want that goal? It's not to say that I got 1,000 YouTube subscribers. It's to put me in a place where YouTube can pay me so that you don't have to. See, when we start getting these companies to pay for our content, that means that the people who are benefiting from our content don't have to pay for it. That's considered to be a nonprofit organization. We're going to get YouTube to pay ERGJ. So ERGJ can keep doing what ERGJ does, and he doesn't have to ask you to pay for anything. All I'm asking you to do to pay for is a little button that's free. Hit the subscribe button, the follow button on YouTube, ERGJ Enterprise. How many guys are saying, you know what? I want to keep getting free content. So let me go ahead and go over there and do that right now, because this brother's bringing something valuable to our community, and we want YouTube to pay for it. Right? Thanks so much, I am Yola. Thanks so much, man. Hey, let's get right into this thing, guys. That was daily motivation. That was our appetizer, right? That's an appetizer. Get us warmed up as we get into the real meat of what we're going to talk about here today. We're going through the book Black Fortunes, the story of the first 6 African Americans to escape slavery and become millionaires. Now, last time we got together, people, oh Lord, last time we got together, it was something else. And so we are, oh Lord, this is a long chapter here. So we're not going to finish this chapter in one day either. Lord, this is a long chapter. All right, but now we are going to get into our next chapter, which is chapter 12. It's called Black Cleopatra. So last episode, we were discussing, the story of the founding the hair care industry with Annie Turnbow and Madam C.J. Walker. And we're now getting into another portion of this book, Black Fortune, the first 6 African Americans to escape slavery and become millionaires, chapter 12, Black Cleopatra. Let's get it. So we're in the winter of 1884. Everybody put in the console 1884. I always like to put the time frame so we know exactly how far ago we talking about. 1884, that's 1884. That's 200. 2019. So we're talking about 220 years ago. Wow, Lord Jesus. Whoo, Lord. So 1904 is a little bit different. We're talking about 1884, 220 years ago. Whoo, Lord. 2 centuries ago, okay? Black Cleopatra, let's get it. It's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Let's read. On a wintry evening in 1883, couriers mounted on horses and dressed in top hats and coats cantered through the streets of Philadelphia's 7th Ward. They cut through winds that tore at their faces and routed the branches of trees lining the streets as they went from house to house knocking on doors. When the residents answered, the messengers placed an envelope in their hands. The 7th Ward of Philadelphia, or one of America's first free black neighborhoods. One of America's first free black neighborhoods. Everybody putting down, so 7th Ward. We're going to put some respect on these places. We're going to learn today some history. So 7th Ward of Philadelphia, one of America's first free black neighborhoods, have been founded by freed slaves in the 18th century and now contain more than 6,000 black residents, many of them recent immigrants from former slave territories. The area colloquially known as the Colored Colony was a framework of residential streets that stretched from the city center to the mouth of Schuylkill River. Until the late hours of the evening, its porches and sidewalks were filled with black men, black women, and black children socializing or coming to or from work or errands. The envelopes that were delivered protected a smaller envelope within them, which when opened revealed a card with crisp lettering. The card announced the wedding of Hattie, the eldest daughter of Charles Elias, the upcoming spring at the First Union Baptist Church. The men and women of the settlement were both surprised and excited to receive the invitations, as weddings were not a common event. More than half of the 4,000 adults in the settlement were in common law marriages, cohabited with lovers, or were lifelong bachelors and bachelorettes. Such arrangements were a remnant of plantation life, where enslaved people rarely married, as they needed the consent of their owners to do so legally. Whew, Lord Jesus. The colony was buzzing in anticipation as the day of Hattie Elias's wedding approached. It was to be one of the most remembered events in the Colored Colony. One invitee remembered. The Eliases were a family of 11 headed by Charles Elias, a caterer, and his wife Mary. They lived in a 3-story townhouse on a street inhabited by a settlement's wealthiest black residents, doctors and dentists, preachers, lawyers, and undertakers. Neighbors considered them fairly well-to-do, but not wealthy. As a caterer, Elias was respected as an artisan in one of Black America's oldest trades. Beginning in the late 18th century, freed people who had worked as cooks on plantations took up catering. It became one of the first businesses in America whose proprietors included a substantial number of blacks. So the catering business, right, is one of the first businesses where you had a lot of black folk in it. Once we've got freed. So we just took what? We took our cooking skills, we took our servant skills, and we made businesses out of it, man. We turned our skills into businesses. That's exactly what you and I should be doing nowadays, right? We might have a job, but on that job, we pick up these things called skills, and we can turn those skills into a business. Man, that's it. Miss Iola, thanks so much. Lola, oh, my queen, thanks so much, right? Turn your skills into a business. Everybody put that in the comments below. Turn your skills into a business. Now, some may say they've turned their pain into profit. We can say it so many different ways, right? But at the end of the day, they were cooks. And they said, well, we were cooks when we were slaves, but now that we're free, we're caterers. They still cook, okay? All right. As a result, the caterers, even years after slavery ended, enjoyed a special, almost honorific status within black communities. Elias labored to move his family to a wealthy block and place himself among the top caterers in the colony. Hattie's wedding, with any luck, would mark the ascension of the Eliases as one of the leading Negro families in the colony. As the wedding approached, Elias planned an impressive menu for the reception that would follow the nuptials. A spread of pickled vegetables and eggs, soup, fowl, and baked ham would be served, followed by a wedding cake, a confection of flour, butter, sugar, molasses, and fruit covered in white icing. It was to be a Baptist wedding, so there would be no drinking or dancing, making the food second in importance only to the bride herself. Making the food second in importance only to the bride herself. Now, this is interesting, right? The bride is the number one thing that's important in the wedding, and the food is the number two thing that's important in the wedding. Okay, where does the groom fall in all this? Is the groom down on like the 10th most important thing in the wedding? I'm just trying to figure out where the groom lie in the level of importance on wedding day. The bride and food. Okay. Can you have a wedding without the groom? Woo, Lord. There was no concern in that regard. Like all the Elias daughters, Hattie had both appealing looks and evident refinement. The Elias's children were slender with a sandy-colored complexion like their mothers. They had also inherited with what many considered their father's best trait, almond-shaped brown eyes that he liked to attribute to having Indian blood in them. The children all attended colored public schools. And in addition to learning reading and arithmetic, they studied painting and music. If there was an exception to the fine breeding of the Elias children, it was the youngest daughter of the family, 18-year-old Hannah Bessie, who was described by neighbors as precocious. She had never been in any real trouble, but had a reputation for seeking attention, which could have been attributed to her youth. The streets were brimming with pink, purple, green, and red in the spring of 1885. As the shadbush, sugar plum, and hawthorn trees growing alongside the sidewalks of Philadelphia streets began to bloom on a warm evening, nearly 1,000 guests filled the chapel of First Union Baptist Church for Hattie Elias's wedding. It's one of the largest churches in the settlement, 2 stories with a stone exterior, pitched roof, and stained glass windows trimmed with red stucco. Candles lit up the sanctuary as attendees filled the pews and balcony. Hattie wore a white dress of lace and satin, which her father had commissioned just for the occasion. The ceremony, an opening prayer and sermon followed by the exchange of vows, was short and occurred without incident. As guests made their way from the chapel to the fellowship hall where Charles Elias was readying a banquet, their attention began to drift elsewhere. All eyes rested on this youngest daughter, Hannah. She was wearing a ball gown that looked costly and elaborate. One guest described it as a wonderful creation, while others gathered around her to get a better view. When the affair let out that night, it was widely agreed that Hannah Elias had been the belle of the evening. Not much more was made of Hannah's dress until several days later, when a group of police officers arrived unexpectedly at Elias' house looking for Hannah. They held in their hands a warrant for her arrest for larceny from her employer. Hannah worked in the home of a wealthy white woman in North Philadelphia who had heard about the dress that Hannah had worn to Hattie's wedding and concluded that Hannah had borrowed a dress from her without consent. The officers arrested her on the spot and took her to the Button Street police station, where they placed her in a holding cell to await trial. That evening, she went before the judge and was convicted of larceny and sentenced to 4 months in Moyo Mincing Prison in South Philadelphia. Woo! Okay. So, I guess, I don't know who we're talking about here. I guess we're going to be talking about Hannah Elias. And she was accused of stealing the dress from her employer. Larceny is theft without consent. And they took her ass to jail. Okay. It's back in 1885. What the white woman says, the way it goes. And I don't know we don't know whether she stole it or not. Or whether she got it with consent, but then she looked so good in it that the white lady said, nope, she took it without consent. We don't know. Yeah, so that was actually part 1 of Black Cleopatra. We're in the book Black Fortunes, right? Black Fortunes, the story of the first 6 African Americans to escape slavery and become millionaires. Black Cleopatra, part 2. A horse-drawn wagon arrived at the police station to transport Hannah Elias to Moyo Mincing Prison. An officer placed her in the back of the covered wagon as the coachman settled into the driver's seat and grabbed the horse's reins. As the carriage galloped along dirt and cobblestone streets, Elias sat in the dark contemplating what awaited her. When they came to a stop, she was removed from the wagon and taken to a compound bounded by a stone wall. In front of her, she saw a building made of white stone with a guard tower rising from its center and barred windows looking out onto the fenced ground. She had arrived at Moyo Mincing Prison. Moyo Mincing was designed to resemble the tomb of an Egyptian pharaoh. Its exterior was made of limestone with walls slanted in like those of a pyramid. Around its entrances were columns and hieroglyphic carvings. The architects of the structure had envisioned prisoners being overcome with the sensation that they were going to their deaths when they entered it. Elias was taken to the main entrance of the building and through a set of tall wooden doors. The entryway opened up into a cell block containing rows of rooms holding men behind iron bars. The prison was spread over 3 floors and housed more than 300 inmates, most of them men. The first floor, where Elias centered, held convicts guilty of murder and other violent crimes. The second and third floors housed nonviolent offenders. Elias was taken into a section on the second floor where the prisoners' 40 or so female inmates were housed. Her days inside were lonely and unmarked by activities to help her pass the time. Prisoners were kept in solitary confinement and took all their meals in the cell where they slept. Guards paced the hallways of the cell blocks, chastising inmates for speaking across the hall to one another or making noise of any sort. The only events were a daily shoemaking class in a back room and a morning sermon given from the hallway. The chaplain often quoted from scriptures such as Acts 3:19, "Therefore repent and turn to him to have your sins blotted out." Ezekiel 18:30, "Repent and turn all of your transgressions so iniquity will not be your ruin." And other similar scriptures about turning away from a life of sin. After 4 months in Moya Mintin, Hannah Elias was set free. Upon receiving her walking papers, she set out to her family's house in the Negro settlement. When she arrived, her father answered her door but blocked her entry. Charles, whom Hannah had not seen since she was arrested, was still worked up over the embarrassment of her arrest. He sent her away, banishing her from the family home indefinitely. For the next 3 months, she was not seen or heard from. Wow. Okay. So Hannah Elias went and did her time and came back home after she got out of prison. And her father was basically told her, "Don't come home." Like, what? What? Her father basically said, "Don't come home." Like, no, you embarrassed the family name. You are no longer accepted in this house. Wow. Okay, now I don't know about you. I don't know who has experienced this in their life. Not quite maybe this to this degree, but I don't know. You embarrassed the family some kind of way. You married the wrong person. I don't know. And then you try to go home and your parent, mom, dad, what indifferent guardian, tell you you can't come back home. I mean, my goodness. I mean, this is definitely not the story of the what's it called? The story of the child in the Bible came back and they threw a feast for him. No, that didn't happen. She came back. Oh, let me see this again. Charles, whom had not seen, he didn't go visit his daughter. He didn't go visit his daughter in prison. He ain't seen her since she was arrested. So 4 months go by. Hannah come back, and he told her, "Get the hell out of Dodge." Wow. True. Oh, Charles was a G. Okay. My goodness. Now, I wonder how old she is at this point. How old is she? I don't know. Woo. Wow. Okay. So for the next 3 months, she was not seen or heard from. So we're talking about Hannah Elias. This is part 2. And that's going to complete part 2. So we're going through the book Black Fortunes, the story of the first 6 African Americans to escape slavery and become millionaires. Looks like we're getting set up here. Let's see. Let's keep going. This is chapter 13, or I'm sorry, chapter 12, Black Cleopatra, part 3. Let's keep going. I'm trying to figure out where we're going with this now. I'm like, okay, setting us up. Hannah Elias. It was almost sunrise as John R. Platt and his friends staggered through the streets of Tenderloin District in Manhattan, bumping into men, stumbling home drunk, and dragging girls into alleys and hotels. On street corners and from the entrances to homes, prostitutes and tightly laced bustiers and bonnets topped with feathers propositioned them as they passed by. The Tenderloin, a poor neighborhood of blacks and European immigrants, was the city's largest red light district, stretching from the 23rd to 42nd Streets in the heart of Midtown Manhattan. It was controlled by organized crime families who bribed city officials to turn a blind eye to the brothels, the peep shows, the saloons, and gambling joints that operated out of the row houses that lined its streets. That night, Platt and his group had been in the Tenderloin drinking and fornicating for hours and showed no signs of tiring. Given that the men were all in their 60s, it was an impressive show of stamina. Let's read that again. That sounds fun. Okay. Said that night, Platt and his group had been in the Tenderloin drinking and fornicating all night long for hours and showed no signs of tiring. Given that the men were all in their 60s, it was an impressive show of stamina. They were, however, growing bored. Platt recalled that having seen everything lively among the whites, someone said they wanted to see some coon joints. Fulfilling that request fell to Platt, the group's guide for the evening. He was the owner of a glass manufacturing company in New York and resided there with his wife and their children. His guests were retired firefighters from San Francisco visiting on the holiday. Platt thought back to when he had visited them in San Francisco in 1864, remembering they showed me the time of my life in Frisco. It was late, but he felt obliged to press on, and he knew just where they could find a black establishment. Platt took his men to a resort that operated out of the house owned by an acquaintance, Julius Pop Miller, on the south side of the Tenderloin. A mulatto woman whose name he couldn't recall ran the operation. The men entered the house and stepped into a room decorated with a carpet, a few pieces of furniture, and oil paintings on the wall and filled with teenage black girls. Platt's friends grabbed girls and retired to corners and back rooms. Platt ended up with Hannah Elias, who introduced herself as Bessie. Okay. Let's keep going. Platt was 64 years old, 45 years Elias's senior. So 64 minus 45, that puts me at about 19. So she's about 19. The contrast between them appeared even greater when they were near each other. Platt had lines under his eyes and pale skin, and both his beard and hair were turning white. Elias was 19, but appeared to be just past puberty. Platt guessed that she was a little girl of 15 or 16 when he saw her. Now, I know y'all saying this sounds nasty as all get out. Oh, Lord. He's 64 years old and got some stamina. Hey, man, listen. I don't know what to say. What am I reading? Oh, Lord. Okay. So 64 years. Okay. She was thin and had a round face with a flat nose and big brown eyes with heavy eyelids. Her hair was dark and curly, and she kept it pinned back with bangs draping down her forehead in the front. She was confident and smart, which, along with her girlish appearance, charmed many male visitors. One of the girls who worked with Elias summed her up this way. She exhibited a peculiar influence over white men. Taken with his companion, Platt spent the rest of the evening at the house in her company. He would return several more times after their first encounter to see her until one night he went to call on her and was told she had left the house. Okay, so I mean, it is what it is, right? Okay, so she got her father, right, did not accept her back. And Hannah or Bessie said, I got to go do what I got to do. She finds herself in Manhattan as a, okay, what we gonna call it? A Playboy bunny? I mean, what nice way do y'all want to say it? Because, you know, I would call it a whore. We'll call it a prostitute, escort. I mean, what do y'all want to say? Because, you know, the women, y'all want to make it sound nice. So y'all tell me the best word. But, you know, we know what it is. She over here getting it in to get her bricks, to get her checks. You know what I'm saying? She ain't doing, what's it called? She ain't stripping. No, she doing more than stripping. Okay. We're going to call it escort today. So she is escorting men in town. And Mr. Platt, you got to know you ain't the only one. You just a dollar. But you 64 years old, and you got some sick about you too. You 64, and you say, I got to have me a 15 or 16-year-old. I need some energy bouncing on this thing. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. So she done found her trick. Okay. It ain't pimping ain't easy, but somebody got to do it. I'm just trying to say, you know what I'm saying? Your prostitution ain't easy either, but somebody got to do it. I mean, escorting ain't easy, But somebody got to do it, okay? And plenty of people are doing it. Now, here's the deal. I ain't going to just talk about Bessie like that because, damn, she probably went this route because her damn daddy didn't receive her. I mean, what kind of shit is that? I blame her daddy for this one. I mean, she made a mistake or whatever. Maybe she stole the stuff or something. I don't know. It was 4 months. And she came back and you couldn't receive the child back into the home. Well, then we can't complain about her taking her life at 19, 18, 17 years old and then going to doing whatever she can figure out to do. She not that smart. I mean, she ain't got all the knowledge and experience in the world. So now she's trying to figure out how she going to get some money, how she going to get lights on, how she going to get a car. And her daddy don't want her no more. I mean, this is what happens. Now, let's be honest, people. We've seen this play out in 2019, 2018, and beyond, where people are not accepted in particular places that they used to be loved. And then they got to go figure out this thing called life or the world all by themselves without fatherly or parental guidance. And they make decisions that might land up in Sin City. And they might be getting it well, right? Well, I'm sorry, doing it well, doing it well. Woo! I know this no laughing matter. Cause I know some of y'all like, man, come on, man. I'm just saying, like, this is real stuff. This is real stuff that happens. Okay. So Platt, at this particular time, he is sprung. Okay, Platt is sprung. He said, "Man, I'm going back every week to tap that. I'm going back as much as I can afford to make sure I see this 19-year-old, you know what I'm saying, perky breast, you know what I'm saying, beautiful, succulent mouth, and all of this goodness in this embodiment of a woman who makes me feel great again." Woo! So that was part 3, guys. That's part 3. Part 3. I think that's part 3 or part 4. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. All right. So we're going through the book Black Fortunes, the story of the first 6 African Americans to escape slavery and become millionaires. We're going to go through part 4 and then we'll wrap up the part. We'll do a second part to this tomorrow. So let's get it. Part 4. Black Cleopatra, chapter 12, Black Cleopatra, part 4. Frank P. Satterfield had been courting Elias before she was jailed. He worked in a drugstore near Hannah's father's home in Philadelphia and had been calling on her frequently until her arrest. He was poor but well regarded, the neighbors describing him as a bright young Negro. Unfazed by the scandal, Satterfield planned to continue his pursuit of Hannah when she returned from prison. He went to the Elias's residence after her release, but was told that she had been banned from her house by her father and her whereabouts were unknown. The news seemed to increase his determination to be with her, and he enlisted the help of her twin brother David to search for her. After 3 months, Satterfield and David found Hannah Elias living in a resort. Right now, they put in resort in quotation because it ain't no resort; it's a whole house in New York's Tenderloin district. When David and Satterfield arrived, they pleaded with her to leave. She refused at first, but later consented when Satterfield suggested that she move in with him in Philadelphia. Satterfield lived in a room that he rented in an alleyway house on one of East Philadelphia's poorest streets. The house itself was falling apart. Elias found that unacceptable and began to badger the house's mistress to repair the place. After weeks of squabbling, the police were summoned to the house one night when a fight broke out between the mistress and Elias. The boarding house's proprietor was arrested and jailed for 30 days as a result of the incident. In March of 1885, Elias became pregnant. The news left Satterfield distraught. He told her he could not support the child and urged her to apply for aid from the city. In the winter of 1885, Elias was given a place in the maternity ward of the Philadelphia Almshouse. There in early 1886, she delivered a baby girl whom she named Clara. While she was giving birth, Satterfield skipped town. Wow. God dang. Okay. Abandoned and penniless, Elias decided to give the child up for adoption. After her daughter had been placed with another family, she began to search for Satterfield. She discovered that he was in New York, working as a clerk at a drugstore in Greenwich Village. In September 1887, she traveled to New York to confront him. She showed up to the drugstore where he worked and was thrown out almost immediately by the owner of the store after she caused a scene. Undeterred, she waited outside for Satterfield for several hours and followed him home, screaming at him, while he refused to engage with her. When he arrived at his home, Satterfield summoned the police and had her arrested for harassment. On September 18th of 1887, Elias went before a judge at the Mercer Street police station in Manhattan to answer Satterfield's complaint against her. She told the judge that Satterfield had fathered a child with her and abandoned her. Satterfield did not show up in court that day, but instead sent a sworn affidavit. That document stated that he had known Hannah Elias for 10 years and that she was a common woman. Taking Satterfield's implication that Elias was a prostitute into consideration, the judge found her guilty of disorderly conduct and sentenced her to a month in the prison on Blackwell's Island. Okay. I don't know where this part of the story, the Black Cleopatra, is going, but my goodness, I don't know how I feel, because Hannah Elias, it seems as though she has a string of, it's a couple things going on here. And you guys help me out. That's part 4. That's part 4. We're going to finish up right there. We'll pick up tomorrow. Unless you guys want to keep going. I mean, no, we're not going to keep going because it's way more. We'll finish it tomorrow. So your father, you go to you maybe you steal, maybe you don't, but you get sent to jail for larceny because you stole a dress from your white woman's place of employment and you wore it and you didn't get consent. So you go to jail for 4 months for larceny. You get out of jail, you go back home, and your father no longer wants to have anything to do with you. So he banishes you, he bans you from the house where you grew up, and you 17, 18 years old. Now we got to keep in conflict. This is a teenager. This is not a grown woman at this point. So in 3 months, you find some place you can go, which is the resort, which is a hoe house. And there you are just doing what hoes do. So now you go from being like this, because remember, she was adorned, she was peculiar, precocious, she was the star of the family. But I think when her father banished her, that's had to scar her for life. And so she said, well, hey, I don't have a problem with taking advantage of men, right? I don't have a problem, you know what I'm saying, whatever, I'm going to do what I got to do. I don't have an issue with, you know what I'm saying, being an escort and getting this money, and they get to use and abuse my body. Okay. So then your childhood suitor, who you think is in love with you, I mean, he has a thing for you, and maybe he wasn't in love with her. Maybe he was at the pursuit of just wanting her and wanting her the way that other men was able to get her, right? Because he didn't know that this time she was an escort, I guess, or a hoe, or whatever you want to call it. And so he's been pursuing her for years. And he finally gets her. He finally gets what he's been looking. He finally gets her. He brings her home. Come in and move with me. Now, what is this, guys? Now we got, hey, I'm telling you, this sounds all crazy, but I'm telling you, women, this is some great learning right here. Because what's happening now? Now she is like, okay, somebody finally loves me. It's someone that I've known for so long. He knows me before all of this. He loves me. So let me go and be with someone who loves me. Because maybe she doesn't feel like her father loves her anymore. So maybe she's still looking for love. I don't know. You guys help me out. Y'all ain't talking tonight. Am I the only one to try to figure this stuff out? Y'all leave me all by myself. So she moves in with the Satterfield brother, who she probably thinks loves her. And, you know, but she still got some issues. Right? Everybody, hey, we all got issues. Let's be clear. Now, she ain't dealt with her issues of anger, right? She got some issues. She got some anger issues. Clearly, she has some. And it's not that it's not justified. I mean, how would you feel if your dad did not allow you to come back home and you're a 17-year-old girl, and typically women are daddy's little girl, right? Dad was like, I ain't having it. You done messed up the family name. So now she's 17, 18 years old, and she got to figure this thing out. What's going on, Sambusa? So her anger and her, I would also say, her detachment from love, right? Because if you're an escort or you're a hoe, you don't really have an attachment, right? You don't have an attachment. It's like you become, I don't know. You guys, anybody ever been? Ain't nobody gonna be honest, right? Ain't nobody gonna be honest and say, I used to be a hoe. Ain't nobody gonna do that. If you're here right now watching, you is not gonna be like, you know what? Back in the day, I was a stripper. Back in the day, I was a hoe. Back in the day, I did what I had to do to give me some money. Nobody ever gonna be honest and tell the truth about that part. So anyway, I'm just gonna keep going because ain't nobody gonna be honest. And you know what? I used to give up some ass for some cash. Ain't nobody gonna say that, right? Right. So Sambusa said it's a financial transaction, right? So now this detachment from love, which is still a strike against her father who did not accept her, and now it's a financial transaction between money and sex, and she's living in a resort or a hoe house, and now her childhood suitor, who might love her, or at least he's still, I don't know what he thinks at this time, because he still didn't have an issue. Hey, Crystal Destiny, thanks so much. I don't know about that. Maybe not real prostitutes, but it's definitely some women who admit to being hoes. Okay. Hey, you know what? You know what I say? I say honesty is the best policy. Hey, if it happened in my past, at some point, some real stories have to come from what I've been through, what you've been through, and all that stuff as well. And it takes some maturity to say, you know what? That's a part of how I have gotten to where I am today. I learned a whole lot when I used to sell drugs. People don't know that. People like, used to sell drugs. I say, hell yeah, I used to push weight. But people don't believe. They're like, I said, don't let the glasses fool you. I didn't have a life. Okay. So anyway, but I think that there's merit to respecting the process or the journey from wherever it is that you came from, the good, the bad, the ugly, to whatever it is that you have right now, good, bad, or ugly. Okay. So her suitor comes and says, hey, I know what it is. This was Captain Save 'em. This was Captain Save 'em. He had an S on his chest. He said, I am Satterfield. I'm here to save you from this hoe house. And you not a hoe to me. No, you're going to be my lover. You're going to still get this thing, but you is not a hoe to me. So now, and he poor. So she went from rich men that was paying to play to a poor brother who basically manipulated the situation. He basically said, you know what? You ain't got nothing. All I got to do is act like I love you, and I can get everything that I want. How many guys in your life, ladies specifically, have been duped by the brother who may say that he loves you, but does not necessarily show that he loves you? And this is why I think it's so important, this word called love, because many of us, we just want to hear it. And women, men, we don't care about hearing it. We want to see it. But women particularly, and now you tell me if I'm right or wrong. I ain't a woman. I'm just telling you from my observation. As long as a man say, I love you, if y'all get all these little googly bumps going on in y'all world, and y'all be like, ooh, oh, he said the magic word. Oh, he loves me. Ooh, he don't know what I'm going to do to him tonight when we get home, because he said the magic word. And I've been looking for somebody to say that for so long. I mean, they've been getting up in this thing with no love involved. But I get to finally make love. Oh. So Satterfield came up in there and said, come live with me. Come on down. We're going to build this thing together. And so guess what Satterfield is doing? Satterfield don't realize this ain't the same woman that he really liked. I mean, he still was infatuated. That's what it is. He's infatuated, but I don't think he's in love. And so he get her to come on and live with her, and he get her pregnant. He been knocking in that thing, raw dogging it. They probably used condoms back then. I don't know. He been raw dogging that thing, got her pregnant. Then when she get pregnant, he dipped because he was never in love with the lady. How many guys, I mean, they're brothers. How many guys, brothers, be honest. There's been a woman in your life that you was infatuated with, probably someone maybe a little bit older. Someone you was just like, man, one day, if I can get that, one day, oh, when it happened, I mean, I'm gonna keep that thing right. Because one day, if I get what I've been wanting, because what you've been wanting is to tear that ass up. If I get it one day. So Satterfield got it. Right? He caught her at her lowest point. And guess what happened? That pissed her off. I mean, when a woman's fed up, no matter how you beg, this woman said, no, okay, I'm going to have this baby. And when I get done having this baby, I'm coming after your ass. She said, oh, no, hell no, you didn't get me pregnant and just leave and think I wasn't going to be able to find you. Hannah Elias was some other type of chick. Oh, Lord, she went after him. And now she got to be filled. I mean, she got to be filled with rage. I mean, she got to be pissed off. I finally gave myself to someone out of love, and they disappeared when our baby of love was born. Man, what luck. I keep going, guys. But we're going to run out of time here on Instagram, man. This is the New Black Wall Street Book Club. Well, Black folk do read. You put in a book like Daily Motivations for African American Success by Mr. Dennis P. Kimbro. You put it in a book like Black Fortunes, the story of the first 6 African Americans to escape slavery, and we absolutely will find it. I'm your host, ERGJ, and we invite you to join the Black Millionaires Club, where we house the New Black Wall Street Book Club. Check out the website, theblackbillionairesclub.com, theblackbillionairesclub.com. Check out Join the Club and make a financial decision to change your life forever. Change your life forever. Well, beautiful people, I want to say thanks so much for tuning in to today's episode of New Black Wall Street Book Club. And I want you to remember this, that it takes a village. It starts with us. Let's build as we climb together. We all we got, people. Matter of fact, we all we need. And thank God, that's more than enough. Hey, how many guys going to be here tomorrow as we finish up the chapter 12, Black Cleopatra? We learn more about Hannah Elias. We hope to see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time live here on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Until that time, you know what time it is. Mr. DJ, hit the music.
New black. It's the New Black Wall Street Book Club. Wall Street. With your host, Evan Jefferson. It's time for us to go. Yeah. Now, you ain't got to leave the computer. But we encourage you to get out there.
She found it without social media.
And apply all the things you learn at the New Black Wall Street Book Club. Yeah. The New Black Wall Street. The New Black Wall Street Book Club.